All right, so we just a couple of days ago, I released my first hike of the 2020 season to Wheeler Lakes. This was my last hike of the season to Ptarmigan Lake. There were a number of similarities in these two hikes. On both of them, I took the Nikon D1 and the Sony a7S II. Steinbeck accompanied me for both. There was way more snow on the trails than I expected for both, and both of the lakes were anticlimactic. I think that's a very good way of putting it. So the Ptarmigan Lake Trail is out by the St. Elmo. It's in the St. Elmo Nathrop area of Colorado. And the trail itself is wonderful. It is a great hiking trail. It's 3 miles each way, so a nice 6-mile round trip, which is a good day hike, especially in weather like this. And it's got a nice amount of elevation gain. There's water along the way for your dog, or if you bring a water filter pump like I do on these hikes in lieu of a third or fourth water bottle. If I know I can get water along the way, it's lighter to carry the filter pump. There is very, very nice scenery, a very good mix of terrain types and scenery to look at. And even though a lot of it's in a forest, there are still some pretty good opportunities for photos. I was on a bit of a deadline on this hike day, so I didn't get that many photos, and I think that I saved them all to the end in this video. It looks like I do. So, at any rate, this is... The hike for this one was decidedly more enjoyable than the payoff in the lake at the end of it. So the 2020 hike season for me was a busy one. I spent it out of work, and that really gave me a lot of free time to do a lot of hikes. And fortunately now I'm working again, and I have an incredibly great boss who's going to let me take some day hikes during the work week with my time off. So just because, the 2021 season looks promising. I have some pretty good hikes picked out for that. And one of the fun things that I got to do on this hike was to start planning my 2021 season. I have like 250 trails on All Trails that I've bookmarked to do. They're categorized: Alpine lakes, waterfalls, Steinbeck hikes, just for me, 14ers I can do, 14er warm-up season, things like that. So when I was walking this hike, I wasn't going through my phone. I have a pretty good handle on those trails, the ones that I'm going to do, and I was thinking about them and planning out my 2021 hiking season and the videos that I'll be making to share on this channel about a year from now. And my sincere hope is that the hikes that I've picked out are really, really going to be enjoyable. There are some really good 14ers, and there are some very, very difficult hikes. And there's at least one secret location that I don't know how I'm going to do a video of, because I am not going to be naming it in the hike. It's going to be the hardest hike that I do this year, assuming that I'm able to attempt it. And I don't know how to describe a destination that I don't want to name, because I don't want to be responsible for other people going there. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge. So at any rate, another thing that I really have enjoyed about this video and one of the reasons I saved Wheeler Lake for right before this video, for just a day or two. I don't know the release schedule off the top of my head right now, but for just before this one came out, was because I thought it would be interesting to contrast the video styles and the changes between what was the first of my videos that I recorded, seriously recorded, the first week of June last year, and this one, which was in the middle of September. So I have, looking at this, there are some obvious things. I mean, firstly, the framing is significantly better. The camera is much less shaky. But I think most interesting for me, and this doesn't come through as well in the video, is seeing the shots that I selected. And the shot selection made the editing of this video significantly shorter and more painless than the Wheeler Lakes video. So that was a very fast 3 miles, and here we are at Ptarmigan Lake, which is, it's a pretty typical below tree line, just below tree line Alpine lake. The water was really dark, not really colorful, not a very pretty lake. The ridge line in the background on the right day, I think, could make a very pretty reflection. I didn't get there on the right day. But given that it's not a hard lake to hike to, if you're looking for Alpine lake photography practice or just a general maintenance hike to stay in shape for other more challenging hikes, this is a pretty good choice. And I would rate this one an easy moderate. It's not an easy hike. I think it's rated moderate on all trails, and I would put it on the easy side of that for sure, especially because you've got fresh water the entire way. So if you're in the area, it's definitely worth taking in. And I wouldn't rank it as a destination hike, though. It's not like some of the other ones in the St. Elmo Nathrop area. If you've seen my Pomeroy Lakes OHV video, that trails in a very close to this one. Same thing with the 2 videos I did on the Hancock Lakes, which were, I guess, technically before Wheeler Lakes, but they weren't really part of my hiking season, and at least one. Anyway, I didn't count them as part of my 2020 hiking season. So they're in the same area as this trail as well. So here we are into the stills. For images like this, the fisheye, those were all taken with the A7S II. The full frame images, well, the full frame coverage were all taken with a Nikon D1. The fisheye here is the Nikkor 8mm f8 fixed focus intrusive fisheye, for those of you who are curious about that. An incredibly hard lens to use. I don't recommend it for anyone who doesn't want to be mad all the time about the photos they're taking. So at any rate, I do really hope that you all enjoyed the 2020 hiking season hike logs that I provided this year, and I hope that you stick around next week to watch my Decalibron and Mount Elbert hike logs. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next hike log videos.